Hello, family. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. In this video, we will be discussing justice and what has been happening with the federal court system. Okay? So, I want to bring to you some deaths that we did not hear about on the mainstream media. Okay? So, the first death that I want to talk about is Pamela L. Reeves. Okay? She is a judge who died on September 10th, 2020, and she is from the Eastern District of Tennessee. Okay? She was in office from March 7th, 2014 to September 10th, 2020. She was appointed by theirs truly, Barack Obama, and she allegedly died from cancer. Okay, she was 66 years old when she left this earth. So that's Pamela L. Reeves. Okay, and the second judge I'd like to talk about is Philip Ray Martinez. He died on February 26, 2021, and he was the United States District Judge of West Texas, okay? And he was appointed by theirs truly, George Bush, okay? He was 63 years old when he died, unexpectedly, okay? The unexpected sudden death syndrome had caught up to him, and no one precedes him, so his spot is currently vacant. He isn't survived by a wife because his wife checked out as well, and her name is Mayela del Carmen, and she passed away as well. Okay. Now, the third judge I'd like to talk about who encountered the sudden death syndrome goes to Pennsylvania's Chief Justice Max Baer, or David Max Baer. He's a Democratic judge from Pennsylvania. He died September 30th, 2022 at the age of 74. He was nicknamed the Fighting Judge, okay? Nicknamed the Fighting Judge, but he lost the fight for life, allegedly, dying in his Pittsburgh suburban home, okay, suddenly. He's another one who encountered a sudden death syndrome, okay, and there was actually a book named after him as well, called Max Baer, the fighter, or something or another. I didn't even look into it, but I did post something about that. Okay, the fourth justice, the fourth Chief Justice that I would like to talk about is Robert Allen, the toupee wearing Catsman. Okay, he died on August 31st, 2020. He served from September 1st, 2013 until August 20th, 2020. He was the Chief Justice of the Court of Appeals, Second Circuit, and he died on June 9th, 2021. So it looks as if he was off the bench about 10 months before his death. And he was 68 years old when he died, and allegedly from pancreatic cancer in a Manhattan hospital. Okay, so let's see. He was appointed by Bill Clinton, okay, Monica Lewinsky's man. And Katzman was born in New York and was the son of a Nazi, fleeing persecution to the United States. Okay, so that's a whole nother thing. Most of all these judges, including him, had attended Harvard, the farming law school. Okay, so the fifth justice we have is an Iowa judge that not in the courthouse. His name was Mark Cady. He's not serving, or he wasn't serving at the time of his death. He did serve 21 years as the Chief Justice of the court from 1998 to 2019, okay? And he helped to spearhead the legislation of same-sex marriages in Iowa, okay? And so November 15th, 2019, was his last day in the court, and he was 66 years old at his time of death. Okay, and he's from Des Moines, Iowa. Okay, So, and he died from a sudden heart attack, okay? That's what, his death was sudden, okay? And that's a whole nother thing I'm going to get into in the second segment a little bit deeper with these judges, but I wanted to bring you these deaths, okay? So number 6 on the docket, we have Marsha Gale Cook. She was a senior judge of the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida, okay? She died January 27th, 2023 in Detroit, Michigan. Allegedly, she was in office from May 18th, 2004 to July 15th, 2022. Again, she was 1 year off the bench before her death. She was also appointed by George Bush, okay? And she was the first black federal judge ever in the state of Florida. So, she felt as if she owed some serious allegiance to the Bush clan, I'm sure, and not America. And her cause of death was allegedly some sort of inoperable cancer. Okay, so that's that. And then we have number 7. Am I on number 7? Or she was number 6, right? Okay, yeah. So then we have number 7, who is the unlucky number 7. This is a Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court judge. His name was Ralph Gantz. He died September 14th, 2020, 15 days before his 66th birthday. Born on September 29th, 2000, I'm sorry, Born on September 29th, 1954, Gantz was 65 at his time of death, okay? And he graduated Harvard University as well, okay? Number 8 is always enough, but we do have more. We have Chief Justice Craig Stowers, okay? We have Craig Stowers, who was the Supreme Court Justice of Alaska, and he died at the age of 67 on February 10th, 2022, okay? And they say that he died peacefully on a Thursday at his home, but the cause of death is unknown. But what they do know is that he did die peacefully, allegedly, okay? So number 9, we have a Delaware Supreme Court judge, and his name was Justice Randy J. Holland. He died Tuesday, March 15, 2022. He was the longest serving Supreme Court justice in the history of Delaware. He was 75 years old at his time of death, and he was both the youngest person ever to be appointed to the state's highest court, in addition to the longest serving. He served 3 12-year terms. And so he was in for 36 years, and they go on and on and on about his decorated career and all the law books that he authored and papers, but they never gave one reason for a cause of death, okay? So number 10, we have the First Circuit Judge of Hawaii. Her name was Darylyn Lanito Haim. She died on December 8th, 2022, okay? She too has no cause of death stated at all right? And, they just leave a little note saying that they're greatly saddened by her death, okay? But the funny thing about, not funny, I shouldn't say funny, but the weird thing about that is that not only did they go ahead and remove and the current judge, they went ahead and they removed the former judge as well, and his name was Robert Moon, okay? So Robert Moon, he's number 11, but he was the country's first Korean American Chief Justice, and the last, I'm sure. But yeah, so he's deceased, and he helped to bring in the LGBTQ rights and the same-sex marriages and all of that, okay? And he passed away on July 4th, 2022, and these judges, both he and Dora Lynn, are from Hawaii, okay? So that's what happened with them. And they sent the stock message to him because Hawaii became a part of the United States, the 50th state, on July 4th. And he was I shouldn't say he was, but he died on July 4th. Okay. So before we move along to the 12th deceased judge, this would be a perfect pivot point. Okay, so understanding military's death penalty system. So the military and the civilian court systems are entirely different, okay? So under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, there are 15 offenses which are punishable by death, and many of the offenses carry the death penalty only in times of war. So, as we spoke about, the country doesn't realize that America is at war. It's a different war, but we are at war as a country here in America. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, I believe it's clear that the military trials have been carrying on, and the capital punishment that go along with these trials take place on a panel, generally of 5 military members. Okay, now 12 of the members are required on the panel for capital punishments, and the Uniform Code of Justice for that particular panel would be RCM 501A. Okay, now once the trial starts before the service members, um, usually, for instance, if a Marine Corps general, which is the judge, he adjudges the death sentence, meaning that he doesn't want to go forth with the death sentence, which has happened in past times, then the death penalty will be imposed only if the panel members had reached a unanimous agreement on 4 separate points. Okay, so first, the defendant's conviction must be reached unanimously. Okay, the case then enters the sentencing phase. And this sentencing phase outcome will depend on 3 issues, which this is why I talked about the 4 separate points. So that's a proven, specified, aggravating factor beyond a reasonable doubt, such as knowingly endangering a mission, committing offenses with intent to avoid hazardous duty, killing more than one person, or being the trigger man while service duties are taking place. Okay, and this particular trial will take place before the military justice systems and 4 intimate and appellate court systems. So you have the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, you have the Air Force, you have the Coast Guard of Criminal Appeals Court, and then you have um, the regular criminal appeals court of the Army. Okay, so now the death sentence case will then go before one of those courts, okay, of armed forces, and then we'll actually look into those details a lot further as we get along into the second part of this video. So I thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me comments, and